Good morning. Thank y'all for joining me. So I was listening this morning in my mind to this song about I will follow Jesus. And I think I'm going to sing it for you, some of it. But it's a rainy day here, and I love rainy days. It's just nice. I can stay in the house and read or watch my favorite television shows. I always look at Hannity. I'm a conservative. And so I'm going to sing. Here we go. I have decided to follow Jesus. 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 No turning back, no turning back. Though none go with me, I will follow. Though none go with me, I still will follow. Though none go with me, I still will follow. No turning back, no turning back. The world behind me, the cross before me. The world behind me, the cross before me. The world behind me, the cross before me. No turning back, no turning back. And I decided when I was a young girl, many times, because I felt so condemned a lot of the time because I was always messing up, you know. I was not a good girl all the time. Sometimes I never lied, I never stole, but I didn't always mind my mama. I minded my daddy pretty good because he'd get a switch after us. And when we lived down in Virginia, me and Norman used to sneak off and go the railroad tracks and watch the trains go by. And it was just down over the hill, not too far from us. And Mom would get busy, and we would go down to the railroad track because we liked to wave at the hobos, and there was a lot of them, and they were real friendly to us kids. They would wave, and we would wave, and how many will we see today? Well, Mom told us one day, she said, if you go down that railroad track again, because those are dangerous men, they might get off there and kill you, and I don't want you going to the railroad tracks. No way. So, being you slipped off today, and Phyllis told on us. She was a tattletale, number one, and I loved her very much, but me and her didn't get along sometimes, because she was a tattletale, and she would tell on me and Norman. So, she said, I'm going to tell on your daddy when he gets home. And she did. So Daddy got home and he said, okay, there's a little tree out there. Y'all go out there and pick you a switch, because I'm going to switch you good. Well, we went out and picked us the switch because we minded our daddy. So we got us the switch, and we said, here you are, Daddy. And he took those switches and he swished them around, and he says, yep, going to do it. Turn around. I want to get the back of your legs. Well, I turned around. Honey, you couldn't even feel it. And Norman turned around. It didn't amount to a hill of beans. But anyway, I always wanted to serve the Lord when I was little. And so when I'd go to a revival or anything, and they said, is there anybody here that wants to Jesus in their heart? And this was when I got a little older, like 12. And the neighbor man was having a revival over in his garage. And he had folding chairs and a little pulpit. And his preacher evangelist was a policeman in New Albany, Indiana. And I knew his daughters. In fact, one of his daughters is still alive, and she's a year older than me. She just moved to a new apartment. Her name is Theodosia. And they call her Teddy now, because who's going to say, hey, Theodosia? Me, because I learned she was Theodosia. So anyhow, me and Theodosia talked not too long ago. But her daddy held those revivals down from the Methodist church where I went to Sunday school. And so me and Norman would go, it was dark, but we would just ride our horse over there. We had a horse named Old Bertha, and we just ride our horse over to the Setzer's place, where Charlie Setzer had a place and a garage, a 2-car garage that he had built himself. And he had a whole bunch of girls. But the preacher that was holding the revival, he had an organ that his wife could play, and so she would play the organ and sing, and the girls. And then when he gave an altar call, which he did do, I was at that altar because I knew I had not minded my mom that day and done everything she said, and I would just apologize to God right along, and then I'd feel good the next day. So, you know, I didn't learn till I was in my 30s that you don't have to go to the altar all the time. You can make things right with God wherever you're at. And a pastor in Louisville, Kentucky, the one where Colonel Sanders got saved, which I told about, we prayed for a millionaire, and that's who it was. You ought to watch that video. So then I told about it. It's a true story. We was praying for a millionaire. But Brother Rogers, and he's dead and gone too. God took him home at 63, just like he did Buddy. I think God wants them sometimes. I don't know. I think he made us to enjoy us. I'm still here. He's letting me enjoy with you all. But Brother Rogers told me, he said, honey, because every time he give an altar call, I'd be there because maybe I had smacked one of my kids, and I backhanded Karen one time right in the mouth. Her lips swelled up. Did the same thing to Dennis, I think. My one son that we adopted, and he's a wonderful son. He was a good boy, really, and he was a go-getter. He did paper routes when he was like 12 years old and made money. That boy started making money when he was just a kid. But Brother Rogers told me, he said, honey, it's the devil that's condemning you all the time. That's not God. All you have to do is, you belong to him. So you have already given your heart to the Lord a long time ago. So you just ask him to forgive you, and that you try not to do it anymore and don't do it anymore, and go forward. That's what I learned from Brother Wayman Rogers. His son, Bob Rogers, is pastor at that same church over there now, and it's a big church. And Brother Rogers had this dream of having outlaying churches and have churches in different towns in the surrounding country. Well, where James goes is one of those outreaches, and Evangel North Church is an outreach from Brother Rogers' main church. So there's several of them around, and that's who all those churches got together and went on the Bell of Louisville Sunday evening last night. And James went, and he said he had a really good time. And I'm glad he did. He took his niece with him. And so, but I stayed home because 3 hours, I go to bed early. But he got home about 9:30, and you know what? I couldn't go to sleep till he got home. So I went and laid down, but I just laid there waiting for the door to open. I could hear him when he comes in. And you know what? This little new kitty cat, now he is a doll. I just can't believe how sweet he is. Little Tom Tom. I tell him he's a pretty little Tom Tom, and he is. But last night, he wants to get in the room with us, and so he did knock on the door all the time. But now he's quit because James pitched some water on him, and I sprayed him a little, and so he don't do that now. But this morning, when we woke up, we got him a bunch of toys, and some of them are just little toys, about that big and flat, and little mice. Well, this morning when we woke up, there was a mouse. There's a crack under the door, a bedroom door where we sleep, and he had put 2 presents underneath the door on the floor for us when we got up. Now, isn't that sweet? But that's the truth. I should have took a picture of him, but I took them and put them back in his little house I bought him, where he keeps his toys and stuff. I bought him one from Amazon that is just cute as it can be, and I put catnip in it, and he likes it. So, in fact, the other cat likes it too. But yesterday, I was sitting in my chair over at James's house, just like this one, and Busy, my cat, was sitting right here on this arm. So Pretty Tom Tom came up and he went like that at her. He wanted to pat with her. She just smacked him. Wham! He went about his business. But they're getting along pretty good, but she makes him mind. Don't you bother me right now. I'm with my mama. So he had to take off. And the other day, I always put a little milk and then have cream, whipping cream in my coffee, which turns it into half and half. So I had reached in the refrigerator and the door didn't shut. I was using the milk and I'm going to put it right back in. So I just shut the door and went on about my business. Then later on, I was going to get something out of the refrigerator, and that little Pretty Tom Tom had jumped in the refrigerator, and there he was looking up at me on one of those shelves. There he sat in the refrigerator. James says, "You're going to have to be careful. He's liable to sneak it." He said, "You need to make sure he ain't in that refrigerator when we leave." I said, "Yes, I guess so." So I've been watching because, you know what else? Both of them want milk in a little saucer. Now, milk ain't going to hurt my cats. I know that for sure. I'm not recommending you give it to your cats. No way, Jose. Because some cats are lactose intolerant, but mine aren't. They beg for it. And I don't give them much. I just give them a little bit. And they can't wait. But when I get my milk out, what I caught him doing, I have my milk when I eat my cookie sitting right by my chair. And so I was looking at my iPad and not paying any Tom much attention. He got up here on the chair and he was putting his paw down in my milk and licking it off. I said, "Oh no, I don't believe I want the rest of this milk." His paw's been in it. I dumped it. Wasn't much in it, but enough for him to dip his paw in it. They love milk. Our barn cats, when we was on the farm and we milked, we kept a little bowls for the cats. And cats just love milk. Now, I got some canned cat food, with little pieces stuff in it with gravy. And you know what? He licks all the gravy and leaves all the little square pieces. They like their dry cat food better, and I buy good grade cat food. And both my cats look real shiny. Their coats are good. So take care of your kitty cats. They're a lot of company, and they can keep you entertained. So I'm going to go to Walmart. I bought another little thing that I was going to set my iPhone on when I'm sitting around, and it was really cute, and it had a mic on it, and I could put my iPad on it and do videos, and it was about this big, and a main part was missing. Darn. So that's not a cuss word. I usually say shucks, but shucks, it was missing. So I managed to get it all back together, and I've got my receipt, and I think it had been opened before because it looked like when I opened it, it wasn't stuck where it's sealed. So somebody had it and took it back. Got them another one. They lost the part. Anyway, I'm taking it back. So I got things to do. Time for peanut butter cookies again. I'm going to Myers. They make them on site, and they are so good. I didn't quote a scripture today, but I love the one that says, "This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it." So I'm rejoicing, but I'm not going to rejoice if we don't get a Republican president this time. Most people don't watch it all the way to the end. One of my girlfriends said, "You shouldn't mention politics." Well, I can't help it. I'm a Republican, and y'all know me. And if you watch it to the end, I hope y'all are Republicans too, or at least not so liberal that you want to kill babies and stuff. I mean, honestly, I'm not into it. I'm a Christian, and I don't believe in abortion unless it's absolutely, teetotally necessary to save the mother's life. And I had a girlfriend I told y'all about that did give her life for her baby, and she passed away. She would not have an abortion. Doctor begged her to, and she wouldn't. In that case, it's okay. I would have forgave her. But no, that little boy lived. And and his sister, who was 12 years old when their mama died, raised that little boy. They lived just right down the street from me. And she gave the sacrifice for her child. Greater love hath no man that he lay down his life for his friend. And a lot of our soldiers have done that. When we go by the cemetery that we have here in New Albany, and we see all those white crosses and all the things that, all the men that have died to protect us and to give us a free country. And I'm going to tell you something right now. Those opening ceremonies at the Olympics it was awful. I mean, to make fun and do a parody of Jesus' Last Supper in such unholy ways, they better get right with God, all of them. So Lord Jesus, save them somehow or other, because I'm going to tell you what, there is a hell and there is a heaven, and unless they change their ways and get right with God, they're going to be in hell eternally forever and ever. And that's the true story. Grandma is telling you the true story. I mean, it tells in the Bible how the rich man was in hell, and he said, let me just come back for a little bit and tell my brothers how bad this is. Just give me a drop of water on my tongue. But he could not come back and tell his brothers how bad it was. And that's in the Bible. Y'all can look it up. Love you. God bless you. Oh, where's my glasses? And I'm going to close it down. Here we go. I put my hand over I'm going to close it down. Y'all want to see my wrinkles? Right there. You know, somebody said that Elsa Kirk, I found out she's 52 and she's only been a Christian about a year or so. And she was getting baptized. But when she gave her heart to the Lord, she was not kidding. And I watched her testimony the other day. She said, one day to baptism, because she believed in getting baptized. Now, I'm looking for some pretty glasses. Oh, here's some good ones. And Elsa does parodies of Kamala Harris. You know, our vice president. And she is so funny. Kamala can talk about something and don't say, oh, she's just word salad. What do you think these? You know what? I don't like these that well. They don't show up. No. Let's try another pair. I've got boxes of them. Oh, yeah, that's better. But she does parody and imitates. She's a blonde, and she's beautiful. And I just enjoy her sense of humor when she makes fun, does the parody. You know what a parody is. If not, look it up. You know how I am. I look up things all the time on Google. So anyway, look it up. And she does these parodies, and she also does a lot of other stuff about the Lord. And she said, I'm 52 years old. And I saw this yesterday. And she says, and I have skin. We all have skin. And she said, all these creators. Did you know that's what they call us? Creators. We create videos. She says, we look pretty good on our videos, but you see us in person, you're going to see that we're real and that we have skin that don't look the greatest. Now, I don't use a lot of makeup, but I'll tell you what my secret is. It's my iPad. My iPad flatters me, and I'm so tickled. I like to look pretty and look good at 90. It's a miracle of God. Thank you for these iPads. But now, when I do shorts, and I hold this up like this, no, that's not the one, but I've got 2 or 3 iPhones. When I hold this one up close like this, and I do shorts, you can see all my wrinkles. So you can check them out. Oh my goodness, my nose is itching. I hope nobody's coming. But I enjoy all this stuff. It's fun. And I love talking to y'all. I'm not a bit bashful. My mom used to say to me, you're going to turn out just like Aunt Nellie. Now, I've told this story before, but it made such an impression on me. And I didn't want to turn out like Aunt Nellie. She weighed probably 250 pounds. And she was a sweet woman. But Nellie would say things like, don't you think your hair would look better if you would cut it off and get a permanent wave? Because she was a beautician. Or she'd say, you know what, that dress don't look a bit good on you. Or those earrings don't suit. Now, if you got you some that was another color, they might work. That was Aunt Nellie, and I thought, but she's fat, and I don't want to be fat. I didn't realize that Aunt Nellie was a chatterbox and would spend her opinion whether anybody asked her or not. And I'm that way. I'm liable to spend my opinion whether anybody asks me or not. And this is a wonderful venue for that. I'm spending my opinion today, kiddos. Some of you watch it all the way through because you know what? Sometimes I'm funny and sometimes I'm serious. Now, I'm serious about serving the Lord because I have decided to follow Jesus. And I can't sing much, but I can sing that song with real heart. I have decided. So God bless you all. Walk that path where Jesus would be pleased with you. Bye-bye. Love you.